Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Stellaris Let's Play. This is Northstar. I hope you folks are well. Are taking care of each other. And being kind to yourselves. I'm tired. I'm always tired. Struggling to keep on weight, even though I eat a substantial amount because of the GI issues with my long COVID. But I'm also stressed out. I'm stressed out because of issues I should not have to deal with. Issues of mere survival with my long COVID because the welfare system in the United States is pathetic, full of holes, and the bureaucracy puts through a million loops, and it's a patchwork of systems, both public and private, that is, charities, because the government doesn't do nearly enough. Designed to be impossible to actually succeed in. Its results. I've met people who try and do things like they try and hide assets so they can get an SSI before they are nearly broke. And then when people tried to raise the asset limit not long ago, less than a year ago, I think. Well, when I'm recording this, less than a year ago, politicians tried to do that. Of course, they got defeated because the system is meant to be evil. It's meant to be violent. It's meant to be punishing. Bureaucracy bullshit. People not returning calls over and over and then acting surprised. Did I get worried when they try and set up appointments without my approval of those times and aren't accessible for me to say I can't make those appointments because times don't work with my being a day sleeper and having other stuff I have to take care of too, other appointments and other bureaucracy stuff as well, and mere needs of survival, struggling to even have the energy to feed myself and such because my long COVID, I get a lot of low energy days. And let me be clear, the system is fucking evil. It is not meant to help people. This is the United States, the wealthiest third world country in the world, so to speak, the country that's increasingly grinding its people into dust despite its enormous wealth and putting everything into the military. And there's probably all sorts of ways, does it really cost $200 for a toy? So you gotta think where money is actually being sent into like Black Ops budget and such and hidden. I was getting a little annoyed with the sheer number of these. You know what? Nope. I should go back on that one. That's fine. Take a moment here. I'm trying to orient myself. By memory issues, it's always hard. Money is tight though. I need to get this channel to where I can monetize. So I hope if you haven't, you'll subscribe. You'll view my videos again. I'm trying to move a little faster, keep it more entertaining. Check out my other game series too, because 4X and particularly Paradox Grand Strategy games just always lure me into playing slower than I should for streaming. So, some games I'm a little faster at, like Mount & Blade Warband. No way you can really pause in the middle of like a medieval battle. I don't like having all these. I did check ahead just to see what things I could do without too many issues. Silicon life forms. Some kind of burrowing silicon-based life form inhabits a vast network of tunnels beneath the barren surface of Sugema B2A. As best as we can tell, the creatures feed off rocks, and there's evidence to suggest they possess a rudimentary form of intelligence. Their tunneling efforts have shuffled large amounts of valuable minerals to the surface. Things that that's actually helpful to me. Put some mining here. Burrowing semi-intelligent life forms made out of silicon inhabit a large tunnel network beneath the surface of this world. Their digging efforts frequently shuffle various metals and minerals to the surface. This way too much text. This, I know it's Knight's thing. Except the visitor with a different event name. Has a different event name, but something where there's the visitor. It's someone who like telepathically warps into your empire. This is actually like, I forget what it's called, where they do a thing where they can like imprecisely try and telepathically. It's part of an organization that's been trying to do it for a very long time, and they're like this enormous creatures as large as a city block that many tentacles that can appear on your capital. It's a thing. Anyways, event Singing Planet. This one was press X to doubt this being Ascension planet. What we first assumed to be a deliberate attempt at communication has turned out to be an unusual but naturally occurring phenomenon. Magnetic waves produced by the planet, given proper handling and editing, may sound a bit like talking or even singing, but they are in no way created by a thinking being. Some of our scientists, however, find it quite catchy. It may be possible to make use of this phenomenon, possibly by hosting artists or VIPs, very important persons, at a station created solely to catch these signals and play them as relaxing music. Fascinating. A Unity deposit, which is rare. But it's going to be in Hive territory, which I also don't understand how a Hive would get Uni out of it. But maybe they get different outcome from that, or maybe that's something normally Hives can't roll. So they're getting weird things like Seeds of Destruction that they shouldn't have been able to get, but because I surveyed the worlds, not them. Guild Cage also adds a scientist trait, just clutters the interface, and I think the more positive traits, the more likely scientists develop a negative. That's another reason not to bother with that right now. I'm freeing the Batuta. Surveying here. Scholars and investigating this anomaly. This scientist is doing the debris. And surveying here. Do with this entrepreneur scientist. I don't know why I thought this was so great. I mean, it's 100 extra artisan jobs that don't require a district, but I was trying to move most of the artisan jobs to synth. I did realize I was probably not being too optimal about things. I was too worried about having districts that I don't fully use. That's dumb. There's more multipliers to output of miners actually in the capital, though. The reduced habitability takes 3% off the production overall. It's probably close to equal, but synth needs pops. So what I do need to do is probably have some of these pops that are working as workers promote up. Currently, I'm at maxed growth. As I lose pops, it'll fall below maxed. It's only barely there because I demolished an agricultural district that was reducing planet capacity very slightly, because empty districts provide more capacity than basic resource ones, at least without agrarian idle. I need to promote some of these workers to specialists by building city districts, basically. I also think on synth, I taught about building chemical plant. Probably shouldn't do that just yet. I've been going all in on housing. It's not actually cost effective at the current level. But the hope is as you start to really break into the middle of the growth curve, which I should be approaching here, be a couple more the luxury housing districts to push in that range. If I destroy one for a chemical plant, I'll definitely not be. I don't actually have use for the moats yet. I'll probably wait as I get that tech that lets me build fortresses again. And this will probably be a farming and forge world. And those will go together. I'll also do one mine and one generator probably, but those two will actually complement each other because I'll take catalytic technicians as my third civic. So there won't be a deficit of minerals. Instead, there'll be just some of the food goes right into the forges. For a while, there might be, and I guess that would use some of the trade value, but that's not terrible because I have way too much of it. And I can add even more star bases, so I can afford the logistics of it if need be. And I can only trade so much trade away for resources from other empires. Yeah, I really need. I've tried to basically, except for pop growth buildings like these, in a minimal amount. I needed obviously some consumer goods. I'd be in a deficit without this planet, but I tried to otherwise go all in on pop growth by maximizing housing on a synth, with a little bit of a nod to making sure I wasn't importing food. I could do the same with a generator district if I really wanted, but so some more urban districts probably eventually get built. The housing, be somewhat more artisans. Eventually a generator district, but I should keep the housing buildings. It's worth noting, if I replace one of these, it was 1,600 housing, gain 200 jobs, whereas if I build two of these, get 200 jobs, and add 1,400 capacity to the planet. Yeah, interesting stuff. But anyways, chemical plants is nice to have. And then eventually the volatile material plants, it might let me roll other stuff, I don't know. I don't think I can roll anything that uses boats to actually have a sample of them, but probably manufacture the actual moats on the forge world. Or maybe I'll just add substantially more housing in a synth and wait till the planet's at max pop growth and add a bunch of city districts and then do a chemical plant. Point is, they shouldn't be in such a hurry to start producing moats they can't use right away. And I shouldn't be. I don't need so many farmers, miners, or even technicians on the capital. Should need a city district. Should have built one of these before, actually. This is going to temporarily reduce pop growth by 0.18 due to you lose an empty district, you don't gain the housing, but once it's done, I'll actually be even more solidly at max growth on Hesek. And what I'll probably do is unemploy some of the physicists and engineers, focus on biologists since they're buffed here by the xenobiology labs. Still get some physics and engineering from night just jobs, and yeah, just focus on society research. I want to get the stuff to upgrade capital building levels. Excuse me, the tech for that. Amount of things. since they need somewhat more pops to max pop growth on Anchor. The population is less than half capacity, so they still haven't reached max pop growth yet. It's an S-shaped curve. Even though the per pop amount of pop growth goes down, the overall amount goes up until you get to about half capacity. Typical curves like this you see all the time in biology. It's a little bit idealized in the game, but it's not quite the way real ones, but it's close enough. I'm glad the devs added this, made pop growth way more realistic, the logistic growth. I've been saying for a long time they needed to do this, and maybe someone listened, I don't know. But yeah, I'll bring pops here to work. The reactor district eventually. Getting use of still, well, 3 build slots, and so 600 technician jobs for the cost of 500 housing is a good deal. When I add another one of these full tape production yards, anyway, 600 tech jobs. Unfortunately, they're not as highly productive with the lower stability and the lack of automation. Obviously, it affects pop hard to be. It just affects where you get free jobs, but the lower stability of these jobs aren't as productive as some other places, but they do add to pop growth. Additional to all this, I'm working on Genesis Arc. Alright, hostile fleet. Detected no. Unknown beauty. You have to excuse me for turning stuff so loud. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing over background noise today. I don't know. Some days my hearing is just a little dampened. My long COVID, it sucks. Maybe I need to turn up the music a tiny bit. Relative other sounds. That should be enough. Because I can very clearly hear the menu sounds, but you can barely hear the music. Which makes a little less sense. The effects too loudly. So this will lead to a decrease pop output before I get a long-term increase. But I really need alloys before then. Oh shoot, am I expanding that star base? Thought about that. Think about stuff, how because I don't think quickly enough in these games, I have to think between what I'm doing. I don't let my mind, it can be amusing to the aircraft. No, it wasn't. Yeah, I need that star base. The menu sounds so darn loud. That's why I couldn't hear the... I had the thing muted. I'm like, why can't I hear the music? That's why. Whoops. Because there was no music. Okay. You were like... I mean, that kind of thing happens all the time in long COVID. And it's part of what makes employment difficult, because no employer wants to hire someone who just makes stupid mistakes a lot. I don't have the skills for a lot of jobs. because my expertise was biology, which is definitely not something I can do. Long COVID, I like going to a research lab, and indeed, actually, even before I get sick, I was struggling to break in because it's easy to take people from like China who have the skills and they figure work harder for less money. So even if you're willing to match whatever salary, employers won't hire you a lot of times. Automatically assume like Chinese universities are better, even though I went to a very good school with like schools with excellent biology programs. The one wasn't known well enough for its program as well as it should have been, but specifically because some of the undergrad programs at that school were a joke, but that's undergrads and I was a grad student there anyways. Yeah, plus I've just always had terrible luck and suffered bullying and harassment and my whole life just people looking down on me, not treating me well. No, I don't deserve it. I mean, I've suffered recently like a bunch of threats from people on, of all places, Facebook Marketplace, just for posting like my roommates, and random people are like going on there and threatening me. It's like, why the hell are you just... What did I do to you? I don't even know you. The fact that I always attract these pieces of shit like flies to honey to just come and harass me, threaten my safety. I don't know why. And they don't say why they're doing it. Maybe they don't even know themselves. Evil shits. Because I'm different, maybe, than most of the people they've met in their lives. Of course, our system absolutely keeps like people like me down, like it's not made it easy to get, you know, out of an abusive situation with family. I was staying and have my own housing because the housing assistance programs are all really underfunded in the U.S. And I can't even get out of the freaking country because countries around the world won't take refugees from the United States, even though I have reason to fear future political persecution, and won't take disabled people because the ways to get in are work visas, family unification, or refugee status. Like, pretty much. And so some countries are signed to the UN Convention for the Rights of the Disabled, but that just means they won't discriminate against disabled refugees or family unification. They still don't obviously have to give a work visa to someone who can't work. And if they're not accepting refugees from a given country, they don't have any special status that allow disabled people who want to come to their country. So, I'm trapped. I've wanted to get out of this country for a long time. I'm trapped. That's interesting. Improved relations is over 100. I thought it kept out 100. The wiki said it must have been outdated. I guess it caps higher than it used to now. Maybe it's caps at a plus 200. If they're also improving relations, I don't know. Do not know. Of course, stupidly, whoever designed this gain a favor. There's no freaking way to get favors. Improving relations doesn't give favors anymore. I mean, hardly ever. It's exceedingly rare. It should not have been made a focus. It's just a uni-sync that at some point I'll have to cancel it to get other stuff when I'm ready to. And feel that a lot of the other things the role probably have already completed. It's freaking stupid. Chains of Allegiance. The layer and royal planet state subjugated the council. I can try. Oh, I can see this even if I can't actually do it. I highly doubt I can ever... Oh, there is an acceptance factor. It's higher than before. So I guess now that they're already subject, I can solely... the pin's a bit higher. I might be able to just jump to 2 holdings. Or something. We're bringing... It's basically going to have to very slowly make the vassal contract more in my favor and use those things to carefully select things that will make me stronger until I'm strong enough relative to this vassal to peacefully integrate. It's going to be a long process. It's been nerfed to all hell. It used to be so much easier to diplomatically annex neighbors. Even if you conquer them in a war, you're still going to have a tough time integrating them before they rebel against you. It's bullshit. Too many whining little people who just want to conquer everything with the claim system. Fuck them. Honestly, there should be other ways to do stuff, but... And I mean, it's just a pain in the ass to have to spend enormous amounts of influence on claims or do multiple wars to do it in little pieces that's more efficient on influence versus just subjugating a whole empire and then annexing them. That's going to be a slow process. It might even get slower once I break off a vassal in this area. I have 2 vassals, or even 3 if I make a little micro squarium. I probably don't want to go past 3. I do a little squarium here in the Tomb World, and then a Prospectorium. This would be a standard vassal. Yeah, my other things, they're behind. I don't know if the commercial pack ever bet for me. The migration treaty gave me a sample of their pops, which will actually make good soldiers because of the spare organs. For a clone army. I don't even know if I can raise a single. Army of their species. Oh, I could raise 1 army. It would be capped at 1 though. Probably. Yeah, but I should be able to clone their tiny number of pops they have of their species in Empire. 2. And raise dozens of clone armies of their species, which again, because of spare organs, they'll be a little better on my own for ground combat. So migration treaty benefit me on. Commercial pack only helped with gaining trust. And the defensive and research agreements automatically cancelled. Spent a little influence to gain a little trust, which will hopefully in the long run help with. Next them. So also lend them fleets and such, and I'm trying to remember. There's something I remembered I could do. Oh yeah. Send them intel. Doesn't say how much intel they have on me. But probably our intel on each other is slowly increasing. I can do this. Increases their intel on me by 20. Right, they're already up to 51. What? Wow. I guess the loyalty increases fast. Getting a lot of stuff from already, and they have an insane amount of resources stockpiled. Over 6,000 energy. It's not that much. Was 12,000 food. 1,200 trade. 10,000 consumer goods. 250 exotic gases and 150 Zoro somehow. Could be an event, or could just be they get free resources because difficulty level or something. Probably actually do that, since they'll probably by the time they accept this gain some loyalty back. Eventually I might want this missile, the lone defender, but I can't even display anything yet. Meanwhile, they love trade value. There's got to be a way to make that pop up out of the way. I don't want to see the tooltip here. It's in the way. Instead of a trade, a single energy, slightly less valuable trade, or a single mineral, or food. That's the easiest of these resources to produce, and I have no use for all this. Wait, I'm only at 5 surplus food now? Huh. I guess laying off all those farmers helped. Well, I'm about to set all farming world. It's still probably have the hardest time doing agriculture resources. Also, apparently how much is value resources based on what percent of your economic output is that resource, which encourages you to trade for stuff an empire produces a lot of, but not trade away stuff you produce a lot of, ironically. Right now, I guess I don't have a huge surplus of food, so all the better to trade away. That'll be valued a little more, but also I'm gonna have large surpluses in the future. Let's see. Really need alloys from them. All this energy, which they do value minerals more highly than energy as they should, but not enough more highly. Seems like I should grab minerals from them. Of course, I have way too much of a surplus of those already. Just do energy, and I need to stop producing so darn much of the stuff myself. Storage for energy is not, it used to be 50,000, it's now only 25 because of trade, but still pretty high. Store a lot of energy in those, I can use it with enclaves. Alright. And leverage it into other resources through excess star bases. It's also a thing less efficient for me to produce because of the Knight's Quest. Yeah, I have too many workers, including too many miners, but because of automation, I actually want a number of districts. Food was a sensible thing to destroy a district to get a little more pop growth. I should have gone right into the city district to reduce the impact of construction on population growth either way. Oh, got a civilian. Robot civilian. eventually destroy this mining district. But I really need to add, well, probably add more here in this actual mining world. Oh, that would put me in a mineral deficit. I just want to lay off some miners first. So I can demote. Let's see if I did it right now. 360, they were civilians. Workers. Wow, okay, I made the volume too loud. Turn on the mic. Same. It's 1 energy per base. Still is, it just has a little extra cost in Unity. All right. Did I send pots 2 anchor backs in before? Might have. Alright. And it won't even put the robot to work as a technician. Nope. Shoot. Alright. Hope I didn't just accidentally resettle to the wrong world the way to send the robot away. 1 energy, I suppose, if I did. Well. This one's a bit bigger issue. Temporarily be disloyal. Become loyal again very quick. Oh, suddenly I have. This is civilians were actually employed as. Might accidentally have destroyed a defense army for a while. There we go. I still want to keep over 100 squires. Should wait a day on that, but whatever. And that that was from this event. Shoot, I didn't realize that's a little time left till expired. I'll read off the text to you guys. Yeah, so some of you might not have liked my kind of ranting a little bit at the beginning, but I have to take this anger at the injustice of the system, and it really is a brutal, vile system. Like I've said before, the wrong side won the Cold War because the US, which has perpetrated 8 genocides in the last 80 years, 8. So about an average of, well, I guess the first one actually, of the ones I'm thinking, was started in the 70s, so it's actually in the last 60 years. So more than one every 10 years. Through vassal states mostly, although a couple have actually been, well, one was done directly by U.S. troops, and another was done through U.S. aid, and that's not even counting the Korean War as one, which would make it 2 by U.S. troops. Mostly through vassal states that the State Department protects from criticism and threatens anyone who might try and militarily intervene. Like the Indonesian genocide is a great example of that. U.S. aid directly was involved in the Guatemalan genocide, supporting it, so U.S. assets were very much part of that. A system like this is vile, and the evil trickles back home. It's not just stuff that's done overseas. There's the imperial boomerang. Oppression eventually comes home, whether it starts off with victimizing the poor and weak welfare systems and the disabled and such, like in my case, and then that trickles to police beating protesters, police brutality against black people, that kind of stuff. Anyways, Gilded Cage. The mineral construct is, so I take a supplement, supposed to help a little with some of the long COVID symptoms. It doesn't help much, so I stopped buying it, but because money's tight, but it helps a little. So I might as well use what I got left of it. The mineral, I had bought a bunch before in bulk. Foresight, because it was cheaper that way. Foresight, it wasn't worth the cost. Doctor who recommended the supplement even said if it's not helping that much, don't take it, because, you know, there are risks of supplements. Some people would find it helped a lot. Maybe it's placebo effect mostly, and I'm resistant to that, but there's some physical basis and that's all it's occurring, or maybe, who knows. The mineral construct is, for lack of a better term, a room. Gilded Cage. Made out of the same type of minerals in common use in the Larian Royal Planet States. I think if you had less mining tech or something, it might not say that. The construct is a hollow icosahedron. Dodecahedron, so icosahedron mean an alternate arrangement. Normally wouldn't it? My brain's a little, terminology escapes me these days, unfortunately, with all COVID. I used to know what that word meant. Icosahedron. Resonant sands indicate that it is mostly hollow and was likely inhabited at some point in time. Unlike its pristine exterior, the interior is in complete disarray, possibly the result of an intentional act of sabotage. Science officer Anastasia Laranova reports this makes it difficult to learn anything of value from the construct's insides, but stresses that the engineering techniques involved in creating the outer shell, eminently capable of withstanding the stresses of deep space, must have been tremendously advanced. Counselor gains Voidcraft, which, if assigned as a counselor, increases the chance of Voidcraft research options like bigger ship hulls and such, and improve fighter wing designs, stupid sci-fi fighter wing stuff, and faster research of stuff, and gains experience. Versus is not a member of my council. Just an authoritarian. So not even likely to not even likely to end up ever benefiting from that. Used to be more useful when you could assign one scientist per research area. And then have the whole council system. DLC that come from, I think, Galactic Paragons. Let's expand the whole council system. Or when that came out, they did some of its vanilla. Part of it. Alright. suddenly it's too loud. Maybe my hearing picked up a little intensity. Alright. Star bases, shipyard. Might get the science ship done here, so that I can have that last scientist pass the XP and stop getting more knowingly messages they have an idle scientist. They know I do. Eventually, when I go to a militarized economy, having artisans and HESIC will be great, and it's actually metallurgists that'd be more ideal to be off planet. Because the I believe quest penalties to alloys is 15%. The penalty for something not being what's focused in the government policy is 25%. So I'll actually have a net plus 10% to alloys, but minus 25% to consumer goods. Of course, now I say this, but I'm thinking the old system where habitability was a additive multiplier. You could just overcome. Now it's actually a workforce multiplier. Still, upkeep is fixed. And the things are less productive. You need to spend relatively more on upkeep, and then you add a workforce debuff. Yeah, it still makes a little bit of sense, though. Whatever. For now. Always the more expensive thing to produce, but it won't be a mixed economy forever. In fact, not for too much longer. Especially because there's more civilian industries underway in the synth. Can't see how I could possibly use that many consumer goods. Whatever. Artisans do help me keep ahead of consumer good demand and not run a deficit, at least not without the base income, which I don't know if that counts towards. I may actually be paying trade for a quote deficit, because actual local production is less than local demand if you don't count the empire base on the capital. So I don't know. Yeah, but I definitely have effectively some trade by being produced from the artisans there. Actually, I have crime problems. It's an HESIC. Guess we'll put those unemployed specialists as enforcers. Just that tie number. These elite, employed elites and workers to be as available as civilians to send here. First contact and pending. Our attempts to learn more about the new aliens have so far been in vain, new like NU. While we were easily able to discern they clearly form part of technologically advanced alien civilization. Further facts have proven elusive. It's in orange, which is pretty much telling me for certain they're taking a cautious stance, or hostile, as they seem to be going to considerable effort to prevent us and any other eavesdroppers from intercepting any signals from them. We have therefore only managed to intercept small fragments of their language so far. However, from the glimpses we have gleaned, our linguists are confident they'll be able to decipher their communications if we can just acquire a greater sample size. Ooh. Hostile. Not even cautious. Hostile. That indicates they're more likely xenophobic or militarist. Not great. Any risk to my side ships. That might be a reason to swap the head of research and this explorer. Of course, this one has scrapper, which is important. Was a useful job, but trait. Increasingly, I'd rather have entrepreneurs and scrappers. So move alloys off the capital and go to militarized economy. I hate retyping the alloy forges again. But for a time it made sense to know it was a mixed economy to have alloy forges in the capital. Just didn't know if changing over so quick, investment cost probably didn't pay for itself. Anyways, put the world scientists there in case they get abducted and vivisected. This scientist is on their way to survey there. I should have used the expansion planner for that colony ship so it would instantly go here. Although, yeah, no, it's gonna leave immediately, so I definitely should have done that. Oh well. Little things, easy to forget. This could mean that the ship takes so longer to reach colony. Could be a difference between having colony a month earlier or not. It matters less now that you don't get like
concluded.
Flat base 3 growth from each colony. Alright, volatile material plants are done. Aside from the obvious safety concerns, the artificial creation of volatile motes is an extremely delicate and complicated process that requires highly specialized equipment. Quantum energy states. This gives plasma regulation rays, but these are just these stupid bugs that give extra district cap. A complex where stabilized plasma flows and circuit resonance control allow for intensified generator development across the planet. It just goes from it's got a lot of generator districts, huh? But the extra output that lets me have fewer workers, that's nice. Not really ready to start moving up to higher quality ships quite yet. These things are all on exotic gases. Alright, quantum energy states. Making the quest energy finding less of an issue than ever. Militarized economy will make the alloy funding not such a problem either.